after the Oscars, it really sets a precedent of who's the biggest studio in Hollywood right
Yeah.
now. And I definitely think it's Universal, man. They're on top of the world, and I definitely think, Christopher Nolan, I think, will definitely bring his next project back to Universal. So that makes sense. But I feel like with all the turmoil at Disney right now, trying to figure their life out, figure out their succession, with Paramount trying to figure out if they want to sell or not, and then there's always shit hanging in the
Oh,
sidelines with
without doubt.
Paramount as far as like accusations that Nickelodeon dark documentary is about to come out, so that's going to be interesting. Um, Sony, but I mean, the biggest loss for this entire night was the streamers. The past couple years, the streamers have been very prevalent at the Oscars. And like I said, the only Oscar that went to a streamer was that Henry Sugar one for Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, they got nominated, but they really did not prevail this year.
No, and I think so. To balance that and kind of to like go with where you were going with that, Universal, I think, was successful film wise because
Yeah.
they did not do what all the other studios did, which was focus completely on the streamers and all the money and all the target and all the marketing. Universal stayed with films. Peacock
Hmm.
is not the biggest. It's not the they said, hey, we got Peacock. We're putting some cool stuff on there. Go see it if you want to, but we're a film studio. We're fucking Universal Pictures, and we're gonna do films, and it seemed to work for them, So yeah, I think they just made it clear out of the get go that yeah, we have a streamer, but we know we can't compete with Netflix right now. We know we can't compete with all them. We're just gonna do what we do with it, but we're not gonna take away focus from our films because that's what our bread and butter is, and it worked for them. I mean, so. And look, I think, like we said when we were talking about the relevance, like you said, the past few years it's been all about the streamers, and maybe the audiences weren't too fond of that. Maybe they were like, we don't want to know it. Oscars are film theaters, like boom, give us film theaters. We don't want to give a shit about streamers. So I think moving forward, you're going to see the studios, if they are films for their streamers, they're still going to get theatrical releases, and you're going to get a little bit of time with them in the theaters so that we can still feel good about it at Oscar time, right? It's like, no, the only place I watched this was on Netflix. Yeah, I feel like if you're an Oscar person or you love it or you're entrenched in the history of it, you want to say you saw the film in a theater. It's kind of the whole thing, right? Like,
Yeah, and I definitely feel like that had a hand in it with, all of the winners this year.
for
Because
sure.
if y'all don't know, the people who vote on the awards are people who have won the awards in the past. So that's the way that you are able to do this. And I feel like Oscar winners are kind of getting tired of the streaming awards,
Yeah.
right? I feel like they're just getting a little sick of all of, I don't know. They do value that cinema. They do value that experience of going out to a theater. So yeah, I just feel like all of the Academy is just probably like, okay, we're getting a little tired of this.
Yeah.
We're kind of ready to go back to what we're good at. And I definitely feel like that shows.